I'm from Hong Kong, and I have three siblings, two brothers and a sister. I'm the oldest among the four of us, and I recently finished studying the Bachelor of Early Childhood Teaching, and I'm becoming a teacher, and it qualifies me to teach in early childhood and in primary school.
Hello everyone, we are back with another episode of Humans of Mitti Ke Rang. I'm your host Abhishek Kumar. Today we have Casey Lee with us. She was born in Hong Kong, but she is living in Australia these days. She is a passionate educator. Hi Casey, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm also good, Casey. I'm very excited to interview you, Casey. So Casey,
Thank you.
I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of whole team of Mitti Ke Rang. We are so glad to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited too.
Yeah. So let's just begin with tell us something about your family and about your education background.
I'm from Hong Kong, and I have three siblings, two brothers and a sister. I'm the oldest among the four of us, and I recently finished studying the Bachelor of Early Childhood Teaching, and I'm becoming a teacher, and it qualifies me to teach in early childhood and in primary school.
That
So
is very
yeah,
great. Congratulations for completing your bachelor's.
thank you, thank you.
So how has your life changed after coming to Australia?
So the biggest life change so far, moving to Australia, would be living in a homestay because my homestay parents are Australian. So there are a lot of cultural differences, different cultural beliefs, and they're not as strict in some ways. Like they're more friendly and more emotionally like able to like talk to you, but with Asian at home in Hong Kong, it's not as like close, and it's harder to like express yourself with like when you say something they just be like okay like they wouldn't really make much comment. So it's not a bad thing, but it's just that's the biggest change so far, I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. So as a teacher, since you are becoming a teacher, so have you noticed any difference between the education system of Hong Kong and Australia?
So yeah, I'd say the biggest difference, let's start with Hong Kong first, would be the fact that little children as young as 5 begin their stress and anxiety because of education and having parents expectations too high, and they have too much expectations to the point where the children start like, well, obviously they expect their children to have straight A's and be perfect in tests, perfect in attendance, perfect in all areas of everything. So that would be the stressor of the Hong Kong's education system. And for Australia's educational system so far, I'd say it's play based, inquiry based, very exploration and experimentation kind of field kind of thing. And to be honest, I think that when if I could say one thing, it would be to put those two educational systems together and meet in the middle. So that would be like one of the biggest difference of the two educational systems. Yeah.
Yeah, it's also same in India. Like we focus on children's too much, like about the completing all the tasks. We want each and every children like to be all rounder and also
Yeah.
study and
Yeah.
also play and all the things. So that must be
Yeah.
very depressing for
Yeah.
them. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah. So
yeah.
yeah,
So
that would be the biggest difference.
so as a teacher, you have a lot of responsibility on your shoulders. So how do you manage to give time to each and every individual student?
So giving time to each individual student would be through For example, understanding their personal interests and then setting goals for them. Like, for example, if they have areas of needs and their areas that they have strengths in, then like you focus on that kind of areas, and then you, after you create these goals, you and once they meet them, then um, you create new ones. And then another way would be conferencing. So conferencing is like when children have writing or reading to do, you sit one-on-one with them on an individual basis when you have time, and you help check their work and you ask them questions, how it can be better, how it can be improved. Like you check their grammar for them and punctuation, and you obviously guide them. You don't just do everything for them. But yeah, and then one other example would be also to for additional needs children, if you have parent teacher kind of like meetings after school, you talk about like improvement plans with the parent and like what's working and what's not. So that's another way to like add on to like how to support individual children. So yeah.
Yeah, that is great. It's also it's very hard in India to focus on different individual because we have a lot of children. Like talking about myself, in my class there were 60 students, so it's really very hard for a teacher to focus on
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
individual and to sit with them and read with them. So yeah, it's a very complicated one.
Yeah.
So how
Yeah, it
many children do
is.
you have? Like how many students you are teaching right now?
So actually, I'm not teaching at the moment, but this was from like school experience, like as a student teacher, like because during the studies we had to like practice as a student teacher so that we could experience what it's like to be in the field area, and we learned from our supervising teacher. So these are the strategies that I learned from my supervising teacher.
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's great. Yeah. So I guess bullying occurs everywhere. So how do you think you could manage this issue as a teacher?
So during my student placement, which is my teaching experience as a student teacher, I also learned that this supervising teacher included in their curriculum a activity for students to experience. So like they would make different videos about why bullying is wrong. So they would have like a little situation where they'd be rude to each other and disrespectful to each other. And then after that, they'd explain why it's disrespectful and why they think it's rude and how they can improve it, how they could have responded better to avoid disrespecting our peers, obviously. And then afterwards you would watch it as a group, and you'd realize while you're watching it, you understand why it's like wrong, and how obviously while they're doing this as well, it's like they understand better why it's not nice to be bullying our friends, obviously. So yeah, and then another way would be during my high school experience, I had an incursion. So like a person would come into the school and they'd kind of explain why bullying is not a good thing, and then obviously students would be curious. So students that were curious would ask the questions, and then it would kind of answer their curiosities, and then they'd also give us ways to manage bullying, and yeah, like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that is great.
yeah.
So do you think technology is a curse or a blessing to this generation of children? So I mean, I heard a lot of time to my mother like technology totally ruined you people, and you guys are always on
Yeah,
phone or laptop. What are your
yeah.
views on it?
So to be honest, I think it's both a curse and a blessing, because on one side it's a curse because it can affect young children's development, like if they're as young as 2 and they're exposed to technology, because obviously some parents, they just on their phone 24/7. I know some people firsthand, and they're like always on their phones texting and stuff, and like it can affect the children's brain because it has radiation and all of those negative impacts. And it can affect their cognitive development, their social development, and if they touch, like if they use technology too early, it can affect their fine and gross motor development skills as well. So like like they won't be able to know how to hold a pen as early or a pencil as early, or like, you know, draw as quickly because they'd be drawing virtually on an iPad or something. You get what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So but on the upside with this corona situation, I'd say it is a blessing, because if it weren't for technology, we wouldn't have virtual classrooms.
Yeah.
And you know, that also helped too, because I see my cousins and my brothers and sister are like, you know, learning on using online learning, and it really does help in a way, because they are at least keeping up with the learning and
Yeah.
constant, you know, routine. So I guess it's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
I'm personally into technology. Like I really love technology. I'm like, I love solving problems on technology. So I definitely go towards blessing. But yeah, for your little children, it's cursed too. So
I'm also an IT student, so that's why I
yeah,
also love
yeah,
technology. Yeah. So
yeah,
yeah, it could be like
mm,
for an early age child, it is like we should not give to them because it affects them in a lot of ways, and also it also
yeah,
affects
yeah,
the adults in a lot of ways. Like when I tell you, like sometimes I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like my brain is not working that much, like 100%, because
yeah.
I'm too much on my laptop and mobile phone. Also affects
Yeah,
my
and
eyes
like
as well.
you
Yeah.
rely on, yeah, like you're relying on like spell check,
Yeah.
and like you use word too much, and so grammarly, all that. So it's just sometimes it's hard too. And also for the older generation, it's hard too, because they have to cope with technology and keeping up with the era.
So
So
also
yeah,
in this
definitely I
lockdown,
can see.
I become too passionate about sending voice note to people. So I was like when I want to write, I was like I have to check all the text, like where are the mistakes in this, and I'm doing too much mistake these days because of this
Yeah,
voice note
yeah,
thing. Yeah.
yeah.
So that is
Yeah,
also
but
convenient, but also everything like two sides of the coin.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
So is our as our current education system, which is 100 years old, so enough to educate
Mm.
the children of new generation? What do you think about it?
So what I think is, to be honest, while the world is changing and we're getting into the technological side of the world, if the system is as old as 100 years, we need to obviously keep up with the era and keep up with the technology and innovation that's coming new, that's newly innovated in today's society. So I think definitely the question was, um, what was the question again? The question was if it's a
Yeah, yeah,
100 years old,
yeah,
and
yeah.
so
I was saying, do you think it is enough to educate the people, educate the children of young generation?
yeah, so no, I don't think so, because it's just too old. Like we need new ways to teach. We need new strategies. Like children are learning. Like for example, if I were to give an example from my generation and from my brother's generation, they'd be learning in a different they'd be learning for today's era. But when I was learning, I don't think it would match today's society as much, like with the technological side of it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
me
kind
too.
of,
Yeah, me too as well. Like
yeah,
today, these children actually have a lot of access to computer and everything. In my time, we were like we have two or three computer for the classroom of 60 students, and that's computer is
yeah,
really things like we really are more passionate about computer. And whenever we have our computer class, we were like, wow, we are going to have a computer class and we are going to use it, and it is very interesting. And but today the children, they
yeah,
are like they born and in the when they become 6 months old and 1 year old, and they got access to the computer, so that is quite great as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just yeah, I just don't think that it fits anymore. It's just a
Yeah.
hundred years is too long. Like it's just not not it. But yeah.
Yeah, but also the changes that I have seen, like education system totally like based upon online and virtually. So I think physical classroom is much better than them, because that's quite much
Yes.
stressing our eyes as well. During the physical classroom we have that kind of environment around us, and so that actually helps you teaching. Like you can also see some students who are passionate about studying, and that actually gives
Yeah.
motivation. And when you have that virtual
Yeah.
classroom, and we were like okay, everything will work, and I'm like eating here in front of
Yeah.
my professor is teaching to me, so that is quite a comfort zone. We still live in our comfort zone during this online classes. So yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So what are the changes that you suggest in our education system as a teacher?
So, as I was saying earlier, the biggest change I would do is obviously Hong Kong. I focus on Hong Kong first. Hong Kong's education has too much stress and anxiety onto like little young children, and if I was comparing that to Australia again, like earlier, it would be to put two educational systems together and meet in the middle. And I think by doing this, it would help little children to avoid becoming like going into depression and
Yeah.
having anxiety, because I can just like obviously I actually didn't study in a local school in Hong Kong, but I can just kind of observe other children that do study at local schools in Hong Kong, and just I can just tell that they're just like too stressed, and just it's just study, like it's just scores, it doesn't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
determine much in your life, like that's but parents stressful and everything, so
Yeah,
just all
it's actually true
cycle
also.
of
And
life.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
very true in India as well. Like parents too much stress their
Mm,
children on like scoring that. Like if they score once, like if they were the topper of the class, they expect from that child that he must be topper every year, and like he must be, why he's not
yeah,
topper this time. So that is quite depressing as well. I mean, they should actually focus on
yeah,
more upon the values they are gaining from school, not just the marks and the things they are learning. So yeah, I think that should change.
yeah.
So that would be quite great if you like try to change that thing. So that is quite great. Yeah. So what changes you have seen in education system during this outbreak of COVID? Like talking about in
so
what are the changes in Australia that you have seen? Yeah.
so the biggest change would be virtual classrooms, and like having those classrooms online, and like being able to manage all the children in one Google Classroom, for example, because my brother uses Google Classroom at his school. So, like having that is a big change, and coping with it is also another thing. Like, or you can also mute yourself and turn off your camera and not be listening in class. Like
Yeah.
that's a really like big like impact on students, and also on their like discipline, like disciplining to being disciplined enough to focus on the camera for a whole entire day. No matter how many breaks you have to focus on the laptop on one screen for the entire day.
Yeah.
That's just too much. So that would be the biggest change, and obviously it's a huge impact on their development too. So yeah.
So you're talking about like we can switch off your video. So that is totally me. Like during my classroom when I don't want to attend the like lecture and not interested.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Yeah.
just switch off the video. I will watch it again. I record in my computer and I will watch it again. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, I mean, I don't know if every single classroom records their lectures, but to be honest, like, you need to make sure that the children are disciplined enough to not turn off the camera and turn off the mic too. So yeah, so it's just harder to manage, and also
But
I don't think they're learning as much too.
children's
But
are too
yeah,
much smart. They were like always happen in my classroom. They were like, "Sorry, sir, my mic is not working. Sorry, sir, my camera is not working.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
broken
exactly.
yesterday." Yeah, so they
My
have to.
internet's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, my internet's not working. I'm going to join class now. So yeah.
So in the physical classroom, you will have to do force the child to focus on the blackboard and whiteboard. But in the virtual classroom, you cannot force him to focus on the thing whatever you are teaching. So that is
Yeah, yeah.
quite much
They don't.
complicated. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So what are you doing to make your virtual classroom as effective as physical classroom? Like what are the techniques that
So
you are using?
So I haven't had the opportunity to teach in a virtual classroom yet because I'm not a teacher yet. I'm gonna become one. So I need to find a job and obviously get then I'll become a teacher. But obviously I don't think I'd want to experience what it's like to be teaching in a virtual classroom because I'd have to learn so many different ways to manage and like
Yeah.
teachers this year they just went straight into it. They didn't really have much training, I would say, because it was just like Corona just happened, you know. So yeah, that's my answer. I don't really know
Yeah.
what it would.
So even
Yeah,
even
what?
in India, there are like too much old and too much experienced teacher. They were not much into technology, but due to this outbreak of COVID, and they have to like understand each and everything. Like they have to understand like
Yeah.
what to do for this. So this is also very hard for them as well. Like they have to understand. They were not a single like they know a single word about technology, and now they are like conducting classrooms. So yeah, I can understand the situation.
Mm, yeah. I mean,
So,
it would
yeah,
be. Sorry.
yeah.
No, I was just gonna say. I mean, it would be an experience to definitely like be able to manage and teach a group of children on like virtually. Like, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
I would like to try one day, but if I could choose, then I would obviously choose like the physical classroom. So
yeah, me too.
yeah.
If I got an option of like studying virtually or studying physical, so I would
Mm,
definitely choose the physical classroom. That is quite much
yeah.
better.
Mm.
So, apart from teaching, what else you do? What are your passion? What are you passionate about apart from teaching?
So I really like taking pictures in my spare time. So like and while I'm and after I take a group of pictures, like for example, if I go to Japan and I take a lot of pictures, I
Yeah.
like to make put them into a video. So I make like little video kind of photo video kind of thing, and then I put them together, and then yeah. So that's what I like to do in my spare time, and I like to edit photos and yeah.
Yeah, that is great. I also
Yeah.
love like a kind of photography, like from my iPhone. I don't have any camera, but I love photography as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
does photography mean to you, and what makes you passionate about it?
So, photography means to me, what photography means to me is like, I like to capture the moment and keep the memory, and like that photo would be like lasting forever. And like every time I look at that photo, I remember what happened in that moment. So
Yeah.
I really like that, and just yeah. So that's what I like about it. Like
So,
just
from a
keeping the
photograph,
moments.
yeah, we can live the full moment together, like at once. When we
Yeah.
see a photograph, we actually remind each and everything. Like when we were at that place, did this thing happen with us? We met
Yeah,
this
yeah,
person.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so that is quite
exactly.
great.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's just, and I also like when you're taking a photo, like when they don't know that you're taking a photo for like for your friends, for example, like you just take like a candid shot and you just remember that moment was so happy. So you just keep that in your memory forever. It's just so like special and so yeah. So
So most of the candid shots are actually weird because you took their photograph like while they are eating, and like
yeah,
it
yeah,
also we can also use them to irritate them as well. Like like I have your weird pictures. So but yeah, it actually quite funny as well. Yeah. So I use them
yeah, yeah,
also. Yeah.
yeah,
So let's just begin with the rapid fire round, which is a fun part of this interview. So I will be asking you
yeah.
some short questions, and yeah. So let's
Mhm.
just begin. So what is your favorite Netflix series?
It's the series that came out recently called Ratched.
Wow.
and
Yeah.
I found that really interesting. I watched all of it in like 3 days.
So,
Yeah, so
what is the series about?
it's like it's kind of about like mental hospital and like people with like special needs, and like they have like it, and then it's like this nurse. She's
Yeah.
very kind of dark and
Okay.
mysterious, and like yeah, it's very kind of like
Yeah,
psycho kind of thing. But
that's great. I
but
now
yeah.
I'm also interested in it. I will also watch it definitely.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you should try it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what is your favorite like best childhood memory?
So that would be like one time when we were going on a trip to Japan as a family. We on our last day of the trip, we basically ran out of the hotel because it was snowing. And like it was our first time experiencing snow, so we basically ran around in the snow, and it was just amazing. And I just remember everyone being really happy, and yeah, that was a moment that is like
Oh,
captured in my mind but not on camera because we
yeah,
didn't
that's
have like
great.
so much technology back then. But yeah, that would be my favorite memory. Yeah.
But it was great, really great. I never been to Japan, but I heard about Japan a lot.
Mm,
Like Japan is too ahead from all of us in technology and stuff. So yeah, that is quite great.
yeah, yeah, they are.
Yeah. So, which is your favorite cartoon?
So my favorite cartoon is this Japanese anime. As you can tell, there's a theme here. I like
Yeah.
Japan.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
it's this anime called Doraemon, and it's this cat that comes from the future, and it has like this little pouch in his stomach, and you can have all the gadgets. So like, for example, if you have a test and you don't want to study, you can put the bread onto the book, and you can eat the bread so that you can eat. You're basically eating information. And then like you don't have to study at all, and then like you can have a door that goes to anywhere. So you can have a door, he just pulls a door out of his pocket, and you can like go to Australia or go to Hong Kong, go
Wow,
to India. Like it's
that
just
is quite
amazing.
great.
Yeah,
So,
I wish
is that
someone would really invent
Doraemon?
that.
Is that Doraemon? Doraemon, right?
Yeah, Doraemon. Yeah,
Yeah,
Doraemon.
that is. I
Yeah,
also love
you
Doraemon.
know
I
it.
love Doraemon. I love
Yeah,
Shin Chan. Yeah, I loved it. He was like quite
yeah.
ahead from us, and I really like wish I have a Doraemon with me. So my all works get easy. Yeah,
I know, right? I know, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so
So when I
yeah.
was small, I was like, maybe Doraemon must be real, and in future I will get my own Doraemon. So yeah, that is quite great.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So who is your biggest inspiration?
I'd say my grandmother is my biggest inspiration. She's very strong-minded, and she just um, is very independent. She's very she likes cooking. I'm cooking recently, and I'm learning a lot from her. And she's just very unique in my mind. So yeah, she's just
Yeah, that is also great. I
special.
also inspired my grandmother as well. She was like always calm
Yeah,
and she was like always happy. I never saw her like in angry mood or in like yelling on someone. She was
yeah,
always like, everything is all right. I mean, we will handle everything.
yeah,
And as a human
yeah,
being, we should actually focus on the solution, not on the problem. So that is quite great as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So, if you had three wishes from Ginny, what would they be?
So, I guess the first one would be to have world peace, because this world is like literally falling apart,
Yeah,
in my opinion. And like, if we have world peace, there'll be less wars. There'd be like, well, actually, there'd be no wars
yeah,
if we
no
have
wars.
peace in
Yeah,
the world. But yeah, so that would be my first one. My second one is to actually go back in time and know everything that I know today,
that's
so I
great.
can actually like be better and just like learn from my mistakes that I've made already, so that I can not make them again. So
Yeah,
yeah, and then the third one would be to have my entire family be mentally and physically healthy.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
really great.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great. Yeah. So moving on to the last question. So, which country you would like to visit after COVID ends?
So I definitely want to visit Hong Kong because I miss Hong Kong. My parents are there, my family's there, so yeah. So that would
Yeah,
be
you
the
must be
place.
missing your
Where
family
would
a
you like
lot.
to go?
Yeah, I would like to
Yeah,
come
I
to
am.
Australia. I'm just want to come to Australia once. Australia is like I really love Melbourne, and I want to go to
Yeah.
Sydney as well. So yeah, that is great. So
Mm.
the thing is, I interview like a lot of people, and all of them like by coincidence, all of them are from Australia. So that makes
Oh
Australia
wow.
quite much interesting. So yeah, like
Yeah.
most of them are from Australia. Like some of them are from India, and the international speaker that I got, like they maximum times they are from Australia.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. That's
So
nice.
yeah, that
So
is great.
yeah.
So, Cassie, thank you again. I would like to express my gratitude again. Thank you for your wonderful word. It was really great interviewing you, and you are really very well. And yeah, that is so much great. And I hope COVID ends soon, and you will get to see your family.
Yeah, thank you. It was
So
great getting interviewed too. Interesting experience.
yeah, thanks a lot. So ladies and gentlemen, this is all for today. We will be back with another story, another person soon. For now, be safe, stay tuned. Goodbye.